The rainy season is here again and Accra is gearing up for the usual floods. This time of the year is a real blight on many residents of the capital. Ghanaians don't surf much, but when the rains come, drivers become surfers. You either surf or you drown in your car. It's a trying time for car owners. The economic toll on motorists can be devastating during this period, but this is Christmas season for mechanics and spare parts dealers. But it doesn't end there. It's common to see entire buildings submerged in water after a not-so-heavy downpour. Some major roads and streets also get cut off by overflowing drainages, making it nearly impossible to commute for several hours at a time. That's just the norm every year during this season in Accra, as has been the case for decades now. Now, I'm not here to pick on the capital. After all, Accra can be a sight for sore eyes. The city central boasts of some impressive developments. The skyline is coming along nicely too, and the residential districts are, well, money vibes. But the actual Accra, where the bulk of the average Ghanaian resides, is somewhat of a different story. Neighborhoods and streets like these still exist, where the stench from a week-old heap of rubbish will send your brain whirlwinding in confusion on your way to work. And when the rains come, the city's filth and drainage challenge is laid bare for all to see. But here's the sad truth of the matter. The floods aren't the real problem. After all, they are only a product of a poorly planned city. The real problem is how successive governments have handled the flood situation over the years. Take the current administration for instance. I remember the government saying they needed to invest a minimum of about $2 billion or so to create a more robust and interconnected drainage system in Accra in order to bring an end to the perennial floods. And one image came to mind after hearing this. We know how it goes with such huge budgets. Now, I don't know how much has since been released for that purpose. I mean, the country is broke as it is, so I'm guessing not much has been allocated to address the crisis. But here's a former Minister for Sanitation explaining how she spent $43 million dredging up the Odao River. This was the Odao River before the dredging. It was basically a sewer at this point, and a trigger for floods.
Your ministry had 43 million out of the $200 million. How was that 43 million applied?
Mr. Chairman, I have given the components out is to cap about 5 heaps around Tantan and then the Odao Basin. And it's also to clean up the Odao Basin to make the channels open for water to flow in. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I mean, I'm no expert in reading people, but she's lying, right?
Yes.
She doesn't even sound like she believes her own self. And not long after this inquiry, she's being investigated for possible fraud after millions of dollars was found in her home in a year when the government was admonishing citizens not to hoard dollars, as it was taking a devastating toll on our economy. So this is the problem. Our country is a giant circus governed by clowns. Meanwhile, the situation is getting out of hand. The population of Accra is projected to grow by 20% within the next decade due to rapid urbanization, so we can only expect things to get worse. Some people seem to have given up on a solution and are just looking to adapt at this point. I mean, look at this guy. And of course, Baumia is still asking for the steer so he can finish us off.
Mumbastiano, Emani. Mumbamistiano. Naminchikano.
I don't stand with any party. I stand with Ghana. And Ghana deserves better. Maybe we should take a cue from the Kenyans.